with microphones. I am very clumsy, so I don't hold them because I fall, but I am going to try to speak as loud as I can. So you tell me if I'm doing it, because if I touch this thing, I'm not gonna be pretty. Anyway, so thank you for your time. This is my home in the sense that I've taught at a lot of universities. A lot of you guys, I call you my babies, because my students that were 2 feet tall, they were mostly football players. That's the kind of student that I had, because I teach them Spanish or English or literature. And they were my babies, and they're still my babies. And they're in Harvard, they're lawyers. So, you know, I work with a lot of universities. I work in Leicester University, Monroe, Penn State, a number of them. And you guys are just the best of the best for me. The best time of education is with you guys. Because, and I'm going to move because I really hate just having mics. Because you guys are going to change a lot of things. What is outside for you guys is completely different than what was there for me. My world is halfway there. Believe me, I'm 42. I'm halfway. I hope I can live until 80, but I don't know. I have a very demanding life, and I keep on giving myself more stuff to do, which is insane because I wake up at 3 in the morning to take a flight, which I was very, very dumb to say, yeah, I can do morning flights. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Believe you me. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about something that you are going to see in the classroom. I had experience to teach young kids. I had an experience to teach middle school students, high school students, and university. High school and university, like I said, my favorite. Kindergarten, seriously, you guys, you deserve a reward, some sort of medal of honor, because I have a 6-year-old and he drives me insane. I love him and I have to take care of him because he's my son. I cannot just push him away. You know, I can't because, you know, I have a responsibility towards it. But if I could, you know, sometimes, I'm just kidding. No, but the little ones are expecting something different. So what's going to happen with education? And this is a question that I have to you guys right now. What do you think is happening? What is happening right now with you guys? What are you looking at? Not all of you, but some of you are looking at something. What is it? All of you have it literally in front of you. Your phones. Very good. They're super important in your life. Why? Do you have something important in your agendas today? A message from a doctor, life and death? Really? What happened? Do you guys are like, you know, with the government, you're going to get some specific news from the government? I had some friends, not telling you what I knew. Anyway, but we are hooked in technology, like with our phones. That's our way of communicating now. All of us here, you guys have friends and people that you're going to grow into and you're eventually going to be working in the same place. But you're also going to have people that you're never going to see after you graduate from university. And we're becoming islands. But that's not what the world is expecting from us anymore. And that's not what education is expecting from us anymore. So, today we're going to talk about 21st century skills. And I'm going to make this as entertaining as possible. I'm going to give you a couple of activities to actually one main activity for us to do. And I hope that I can teach you. And if I do not, I say, Nancy, this is boring. Tell me. Honest is the best policy. I do believe in that. And my French, I know there's some French people here. You know, je suis fatiguée. Just as like you are. So let's try to do this. Okay, so this is the beginning of the presentation. Oh, see, there you go. You ready? See, don't you just love technology? There you go.
pasa? Vamos a entrar.
So far, what do you know about 21st century? I need a volunteer to answer this. What do you think it is 21st century education? 21st century skills. What do you know about 21st century skills? If you don't know, just say it. I don't know. You don't know? Very good. Thank you. A wise person admits the ignorance. An intelligent person says, I know, even though they don't know. So, do you guys know what 21st century skills are? No?
The most important in the 21st century is the technology. All times you use the technology. And the children, for example, they boring with the book and reading all time. They need videos and a class more dynamic.
Okay, technology. So for you, 21st century skills involves a lot about technology. What else? And being dynamic. Anybody else?
We are visual.
Yes.
We need to see and watch videos and presentations. Always we need to look.
So that's what you know. Okay, we need to be visual learners. We need to be dynamic learners or teachers. In this case, let's think about ourselves as teachers. We need to be dynamic teachers. We need to take into account our visual learners. What else? Here, nobody has said anything here. 21st century, what do you think it is? Oh, you don't know. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Sorry for not seeing you.
It's fine, no problem. Well, what I know about it is like it's a set of the skills that our students need nowadays, and they have to do not only with technology but also with other, other skills like leadership, creativity, critical thinking, social environment. Not only technology, it is also involved, but there are others that
Very good. And how do we work creativity, leadership skills, and technology into all of this with our students? Do we know how to do it? Do you think that if I put you in a classroom right now, you would know how to do it? Well, let's see if I can help you with this today. Okay? So, today we're going to know what do we know? So far we've been discussing about it. We're going to know a little bit about the background information about what is 21st century skills. And we're going to learn through experience. We're going to do a little thing today, a little activity, okay? Which I hope you're ready for. Okay, so what do we know? This was an input from your teachers, from administrators, from businesses about the skills that we need for the 21st century. Right now, we have some of them. We know that we need to communicate, but some of us are not communicating. If I don't get your attention, I am not being effectively at communicating with you or getting my message across. We need to be able to communicate. You guys need to be able to do what I'm doing. Stand in the middle of a lot of people and talk about crazy stuff, especially with the little kids, because you have to yay, come on, and let's, tap dance and all that stuff. So you have to be able to give them the skills, the leadership skills like you mentioned, be creative, but also enable students to be creative. teachers, sometimes whenever you're going to experience this after you work a lot of years as teachers, you're going to be burned out. And creativity is going to be an issue. Because you're just going to give them busy work. And whenever you start doing this, is whenever you say, hey, come on, I need to be working on something. I need to be doing something different because I am not getting across. Right now we have gigabytes, megabytes, and it's going to be yottabytes because I think they already exist. The amount of information that our students are getting every day is ridiculous. And information is going to change not every 24 hours. It's going to change every 42 minutes. So we as teachers are going to have to start being more informed and being more dynamic, and also having more ways to help our kids with life skills. We're not just teaching them content. Content is the one thing that is going to help us to teach skills. That is why everybody's starting to talk about standards and competencies. And whenever you go into a classroom setting or work in a school, they're going to ask you, do you know what the Common Core is? Do you know what PISA is? Do you know about the IB curriculum? And it's whenever you have to say, oh, I do. I know that I'm going to teach my content through skills. I'm sorry. My content is going to tell me to teach my skills. And we have to give our students the skill sets that they need for the future. And now I actually want to do this question to you guys. How many of you know what La Pinta, La Niña, y La Santa Maria are? Do you know? What?
Three ships.
Ships from whom? Yeah? Who? What's the name of the guy that had them? Ah, how long has it been since someone asked you this question? How do you know this? Because you memorized this at some point in your life, which is funny because if this was an older audience, you would have said, it was La Niña, La Pinta, Santa Maria, therefore, because we had to memorize that. You guys have like an idea? Our kids don't need to do that because you have San Google. You can Google it. Like, oh, she said niña, I'm going to type that in. Oh, niña means girl. She's not talking about that. So you're looking for the information. And we don't need to memorize anything anymore. What we need to know is to have long-term memory, but we don't need to memorize as a form of a drill. We need to make it meaningful. And this is where 21st century started to come into place. So, this is the framework. You guys are going to go out to find a job. When are you graduating, by the way? Are you graduating soon? Not so soon? A couple of years? Never? Are you planning on graduating as a teacher, or you're switching majors? Because it happens, you know, just letting you know. Okay. Whenever you graduate, this thing will still be in place, but it's going to be UNICEF 2030. What is that? UNICEF has come up with this idea that our classes now have to be integrated. The way that I'm teaching something has to be integrated. I am not just teaching language arts. I am teaching math. I am teaching science. I am teaching social studies. Everything has to be integrated. If I were to see some of you guys in here, some of you guys are kinesthetic. You might be drawing, you might be doodling, you might be doing things, and that doesn't bother me at all. You know why? Because you're kinesthetic learners. You're paying attention to me. You're auditive and kinesthetic. But the ones that are taking notes from the slides, whenever we start putting them, and also writing, you are kinesthetic visual. And the ones that are moving, chewing your nails, is because you're kinesthetic. We have three types of learners. We don't work just with the visual. We have to work with all of it. Notice that I'm doing something. I am moving constantly because I'm trying to get all of you to look at me. Because I have to take into account the auditive and the visual and the kinesthetic. I am a Sydney, like high kinesthetic student. And I hate when people are making notes for study. Like, it drives me insane. Imagine me working with elementary students. It was funny. I did treat them like little people. Like they were older. I had one Franco. He would walk this way. Miss Reeves. I was like, what? I need to go to the infirmary. I'm like, why? Because I have a headache. I'm like, if I don't see blood, you ain't going anywhere. And you know what happened to me? There was actually a student that lost his tooth, and he was spitting blood. And the psychologist came into the classroom. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, oops. You know, and it was just like, that was my policy. If I don't see blood and you're not hurting, you're not going anywhere. So, we have different students that we have to entertain. Aside from that, we have to take into account how they are programmed, because it is the way that they're programmed. We need to create an environment, a learning environment in which, right now we have something called maker spaces. Some countries still don't have access to it because it's very expensive to create a maker space. But those are the spaces in which you don't have classroom desks anymore. You're going to be working either at a very fancy school, which has tons of resources and gives you a maker space, but has no idea how to use it. You, the teachers, will come up with the ideas about how to make it better. You will get the training and everything else, but you will be the teachers that will use them. Makerspace doesn't require a desk. It requires your creativity and your students' creativity. You're creating a different learning setting, learning environment. You are working with a curriculum. Do you know what a curriculum is? What is a curriculum? Tell me. If I had chocolates, I would give you one for the prize, but no. What is a curriculum? And I asked this to professional coordinators, administrators. What is a curriculum? Do you know? Yes or no?
It's a way to follow for teach on there. It's the way to the rules and the topics in there. And how do you do this with your students?
Yes and no, but I love your attitude. I'm really liking you. Yes, because it is the topics that you teach, but the way that you do it is called methodology. Okay? What is a curriculum? But it is part of curriculum. So don't take it outside. What is curriculum? So when you go outside in the real world, curriculum is going to be you guys. You guys are the ones that are going to do whatever you want with that curriculum. Curriculum is the person that opens the door in the morning. Curriculum is the set of standards that you're going to be working with. Curriculum is a set of values that you're going to be teaching your students. Curriculum is a program that you're going to implement. The books, the methodology, everything that you use to put it in your students, that is your curriculum. Okay? And that's what is changing with 21st century. Just teaching 1 + 1 = 2 is not what we want to do. We want to make it meaningful. Do you know the value of 1? Parents teach their kids how to count, but they don't teach the value of it. And you can ask, whenever you start doing practice, I assume that you practice, like you have to go to a school to teach for a certain time. Do you do that or no? Yeah? You can see that the kids are going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But they will have no idea what 1 means, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6. You know? So that is what is going to change. You're going to create meaningful experiences. Also, they have to have life skills, the emotional aspect. If you're working with elementary students and pre-K, you're going to be working with all of the emotions. You have to create emotional connections because you're teaching them through there all the soft skills that we have lost. I am going to hire you. Why should I hire you? And I'm looking at you. I am about to give you a job. International school, housing abroad, pay you $1,500 right now. Why should I hire you? I'm just asking you. Why should I hire you? You're coming for a job interview. Why should I hire you? You're the best. How come you're the best if you're not actively listening to me? You listen to me? Actively? What have I said before? I'm sorry I'm doing this, but it's kind of fun. Why should I hire you? I am giving you a house. I am paying $1,500. I am giving you life insurance. Okay? I am giving you medical insurance. And I'm providing with all of the yearly plans for you.
Because I can adapt to any level of students, and I can use many ways to teach to my students.
Okay? You're flexible. How many ways? Which ones are the different ways in which you can teach someone? You said that you have many ways to teach your students. Name me one.
I can use differently that it's like plays. I can use technology.
How can you use technology in the classroom? How? What? I'm cutting you. I'm saying, how can you use technology in the classroom? I like that
So
word.
I can show them the educative videos about the topic that I'm teaching. I can, we can play with a virtual, maybe a platform.
Okay. Okay, so you're telling me that you can show me videos. My sister's a headhunter. She gets, you know what a headhunter is? It's a person that places you in a job. She literally hunts you for a position. And I know a school that does this, that they hire, and I've done the process of hiring teachers. And if I want to hire you, you have to impress me. By saying that you're the best, you know how many people tell me that they're the best? All in here, they're the best. You have to have life skills. You have to be flexible. I'm flexible. Oh, I like that. How can you show me the flexibility? By the thing, oh, I can work with different dynamics. That means that she is actually flexible. You have to work with the students. I have to teach them this set of life skills that they need for it. Because that's what's happening, and that's what you guys need to be learning and remembering and understanding whenever you finish your degrees. Which ones are the 21st century skills? You need to know them. You need to know the soft skills, and you need to know the infamous 4 C's. And I'm going to show you a video now. Yes.
And I really want to add that part of this, like when she asked you, where you're good, is because when you're applying for the job, it's not only you, but who's around you. You know? So there is a reason why. And you convinced because of what you do, who you are. But we need also to be prepared because it's not only what you know about the skill, but your emotions, your feelings, and everything that she has mentioned. So we need to keep that in mind.
And it's not to point anybody out, I'm just making sure about that. But it is the way that it works outside. You guys are going to look for teaching jobs eventually. Even if you don't graduate, you might go look for those jobs. And you have to be very short. I am a very creative person. The moment that you said I am very punctual and you're not, or I'm very humble, but you're telling me that the moment that you said that you're humble, you're actually not humble. Because you're bragging about yourself. So, 21st century skills is going to, the main things right now that we need to cover are the 4 C's. Do you know what the 4 C's are? No? Let's look at this for a second. You guys are going to keep on listening to whenever you're going to Huh?
No, can't say that.
Oh. Why do you keep doing that? See? Thank you. The 4 C's are elements that we need to have in order to work with our students and ourselves. When we become teachers, we have to be effective communicators. We have to think creatively and critically, making analysis. How do I make my students talk to me? How? Asking them? What else? How else can I have a student talk to me? Yeah?
Asking for the context.
Within a context? Yes, we continue asking. Yes. Inquiries. Open-ended questions, not a yes or no question. Haven't you noticed that we're so used to saying yes and no that we don't think? The problem that we have with critical thinking in our generation is that we've always said yes ma'am and no ma'am, or yes sir or no sir. Sí señora, sí señor. By the way, here I love it. I tell you that all the time. We're so using yes and no that we don't challenge the other. You could challenge me and challenge what I'm telling you, which is great, because that means that you're developing critical thinking skills. everything that I tell you has to be 100% true. Critical thinking, asking questions, inquiry-based, that is important. And we have forgotten to do that because what is the one thing, if you did something, if your mom said no to you when you were a kid, did you continue asking like how come? Or do you say, okay. If you challenge your mom, whatever, she's like, you're not doing it. And why? Because I said so. My mom is here, by the way. So, yeah, she's like, no. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm not going to do it. But you have to get to a point, it's like, why not? Why can I do it? Like, I'm good. I'm not going to do anything. No, I'm sorry, that's not true. I do some things crazy. My mom doesn't know the whole story, but I'm not going to tell. But we have to challenge. And we have to come up with creative ways of solving problems. If I were to tell you, and you guys are going to experience this right now, if I were to give you a challenge, you have to find ways to solve your problems. Why? Because if you lose a job outside, what are you going to do? Look for another one. Your first paycheck, you're going to be like, oh, my first paycheck, and I'm going to go spend it all. Because you're probably still living with mom and dad. But when you start living with mom and dad, and you have your own house, and you have your own bills, you cannot do that anymore. Your first paycheck, yes, spend it and use it not wisely. Go crazy. You work with people, little people, most likely. If you work with adults, go get something to drink. I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, but you're going to do that. It is your first paycheck. But the older you get, the more complex life gets, and we need to be able to do problem solving. If I fire you right now, what are you going to do? You're going to nice job because you have a family, you have kids, you have responsibilities. You have to pay your phone. You know, that's important. So you have to be able to do problem solving. And that comes with the 21st century. And we need to teach this to your kids, to our kids, I'm sorry. You're going to have situations in which it's going to be the end of the world. My best friend is not my best friend anymore. And you're talking about 5-year-olds. She hates me, teacher. She's not my friend anymore. I don't have friends and this is over. I don't want to do anything. I want to go to schools. 5 seconds later, that's it.
Yes.
You know, and you're like giving them your best stuff there. You're ready for this moment. You're ready to say, you know, sweetie, you can do this. I am your best friend. And then what? It doesn't matter. 5 seconds later, they have another friend. That's the reality. But you know what you did? You allowed them to do problem solving. So, we're going to have a little experiment. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do the groups. I don't know if I should do it with volunteers. I can do it with groups of 7. How many people do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 55?
There are some who have to leave like 2 minutes. They have to 6.
Okay, how many of you have to leave in 2 minutes? Raise your hand. 2 minutes means right now. I'm just kidding. Okay, so the ones that have to, so I need groups of 10, then I need 5 groups of 10. So can we get together 5 groups of 10? And then I need you to sit here, one group. Another group sits here. Stand up. Stand up. Move. Up together here. So, each group, what is the biggest issue in Bogota? What is like the main conflict that you have so far? You have problem with traffic. There's too many cars. And there's way too many motorcycles. By the way, that was scary. Last time I was here, I was on this way. So, there's different things and solutions that you can come up with in order to help you guys to, better to transport from your homes to the university. And one of them is to develop bridges. There are different types of bridges throughout the world. You have suspendable bridges, you have those amazing machines they have in China. So, what I want you to do right now is you are going to research different types of bridges. And you're going to create a design. Bridges. You're going to create a design. You're going to build the bridge with the material that I'm going to give you, and you can use whatever additional material that you need, but I'm going to give you a specific set. To do group work, to be effective in a team setting, one person has to take the time, another person has to be in charge of materials, another person, I think this group is to be, we're going to kind of like separate you guys. I have 1, 2, 3, I can separate you into 2 groups. Don't get too comfortable. Okay. Yeah, fine. Someone that can help with being the manage the situation, like mediator. You're going to say, okay, your idea is good. The other person is going to do the research. Okay? So, I am going to give you the following. Pay attention?
Yes.
I want to give you tape, Play-Doh, paper to do origami, and a card. And a little card. So, you have to research. First, these are the steps. Look at your instructions. You have to research about different types of bridges. You have to look at the material that you have, and if you think that you have additional material, then you can, use it as well. I am not limiting to this one. Just listen to that instruction. My limit is not only this. You have to draw the design. You have to create the prototype. You have to test it. That's why you have the little card, so you can test it to see if it holds it. And then you're going to present your prototype. Got it? So, you have exactly, and I'm giving you the time for this. You have exactly 3 minutes to do the research. Got it? 2 minutes to come with a decision as a group. 5 minutes to start building your design. 5 more minutes to test it. And then we're going to present it. Got it? So this is the first group. Were you able to move the car from point A to point B? I think so. What would you have improved?
There are a lot of ideas at the same time, so we get confused.
Did you have a mediator to balance this? No?
No, we didn't.
No. We said that we needed a mediator. Did you keep track of time? This is a yes or no. This is a close-ended question. Okay. How many designs did you look in order to make this one? Okay. Did you enjoy the activity? What did you learn about it?
How to build a bridge.
How to build, but did you know that it has to be a certain weight and the car has a weight as well? So very good. Thank you guys. You can sit down. Okay. We're going to look at this group. This group was very synchronized. Does your bridge work?
Of course.
Let's test it.
Sorry.
She didn't play with cars when she was a kid. Drunk driver. Okay, so.
Teacher said to them.
Very good. That's fine. Okay. So, can you tell me what is it that you learned about this activity? Work as a team. Very good. How did you all come up with this assignment?
We look for an image.
An
And we
image?
found a lot of designs, and this was the easiest one. So we said like it saved time, so we did this one. Just like adding columns and put this in order to make the car.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Wonderful design, by the way. Now let's go with this team. Now, this team was actually quite smart. This team made a small bridge. And that made it, they finished it faster, and it was quite effective. So, how come you decided to make it small?
We look to select an image.
Uh-huh.
And then
Did you guys believe that you work as a team?
yes.
Yeah? Everybody, what was the role of each person?
We were folding papers, and we were just like doing it all at the same time. So we did all together.
Do we have a leader in here? Did someone take the lead, or every single person was a leader?
Yeah. Every single person was there.
Yes, because I think in the environment with this, with begin.
Very good. So can you test it so we can see? Very good. Good job. Congratulations. Very good. Now, this. Yeah. Okay, so time management was an issue. Okay. I know you worked as a team though. Everybody was working together, which was great. So that was for me the biggest benefit of this activity. Every person participated and all of you contributed to the activity. Even though this was not necessarily the task completed, the main task to work as a team was perfect. You failed, but you kept on moving. That's the important thing. You kept on going and going, and that's what we need to teach our students. Even though they don't get it like at the first time, they keep on moving forward. You cannot get stuck, and you cannot be defeated by it. You need to keep moving forward. Those are part of the soft skills. You get crumbled down, twisted, whatever you want to do, bend overs, whatever. You have to get up and keep on doing it. That's why this type of activities are being taught at schools now. And this is just the beginning because a lot of teachers don't know how to do it. Thank you. You guys can sit down. Activity, and what I was trying to mention to you earlier is a task in which encourages 5 different content areas: science, technology, engineering, arts, math. 21st century is for us not only to teach math by itself, or teach language by itself, or teach social studies by itself. It's to actually create activities within the classroom in which everything is combined. If I were to create another bridge, and I'm talking about older students, I would even put the economy component into it. Suspendable bridges are very expensive to make, but they're effective in our types of country. That's the conversation that we had with this team. But they're very expensive. You have to have special material for it. So, mastery of the fundamentals are English, reading, language arts, world languages, arts, mathematics, economics, science, geography, history, government, and civics. Why? Because we're just not teaching a student that knows how to act. We're teaching a person how to be. And we have to accept that the way that we are is going to make an impact on how what they're going to become. You know that every single one of you decided that you were going to become a teacher whenever you were in 5th grade? Most of you remember an elementary teacher or a teacher in school that made that impact in your life that made you decide to become a teacher. But most likely it's in 5th grade. That's when we decide our future careers. So we need to start implementing new activities. And we have to embrace soft skills in 21st century. Whenever 21st century is not just the content areas that we spoke before. It's global awareness. Here, we have people whose parents are not only from Colombia. We know that there are people from China. You guys know that there are a lot of people from Venezuela here. We are aware of the world. We have Facebook. How many of you have friends from other countries that you don't even know, but they like, or Instagram? Instagram is the first example. You have followers that you don't know where they're coming from. They're from India, they're from Asia, they're from, I don't know. Because I had a follower from Israel the other day. I'm like, who the hell? No, unblock. So we have to be, we're globally aware. We have to be financially savvy. And this is something that I want you to take. A lot of you are going to become entrepreneurs. You're going to set up your own business. You're going to build your schools, which, by the way, if you do call us, Pearson, we do books. But it's not easy to build a business. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. It requires a lot of sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, you're not going to succeed. That's plain and simple. Every single part here, your coordinators, your deans, your university professors have sacrificed a lot to succeed in order to work at a university. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to be a teacher at a university. No, you need to study a lot. But that is the thing. Right now, 21st century, you have to sacrifice. You cannot give up just because the first time that you tried, it didn't work. Success equals sacrifice. And if you want the motivation to keep on going, it's your own actions that are going to lead you to that. You have civic literacy. You have to respect one another. Active listeners. I respect you for who you are. Of course, we take it to an extreme sometimes, but we have to have civic literacy. And that's one of the things that I actually hear in Colombia. People are very, very polite and very respectful, which is great. Don't lose that. Some countries have. And also know about your own cultures. It is so beautiful to have and to find someone that knows about their country. Health literacy. I know that this age, university, your freedom, you have a sense of freedom, and you're smoking and you're drinking and you're partying, which is fine. We all do it. I know, I'm still my mom's here. I know. She's no idea. But take care of yourselves, because nobody else is going to take care of you. And that's what 21st century also does. Health literacy. We're starting to teach in our schools how to take care of yourselves. Environmental, and I cannot, Bogota, Medellin, every single one of the countries here you guys are doing something for your environment. Why? Because you eventually are going to become parents. and you want to leave something for your kids. So take that into consideration. We're almost out, but we have a whole generation coming in, and those are your students. So take care of your environment. And this is 21st century. Learning and innovation. What do you think is innovation? Innovation is not to create something new. It's to improve something that has been created. Make sure to get that. You don't need to come up with the newest computer that, or you have to come up with this random crazy stuff. No, you just have to improve it, and you're already becoming an innovator, an entrepreneur. 21st century, innovation as well. And this is going to lead to communication, critical thinking, collaboration. You created different designs. All of them were very, very different. You were very innovative because you had a different way to go and to think and to see, and you solve the problems in different ways. Information, media literacy, we have to know about technology. It is important. And you guys have a bigger responsibility than I do as a teacher. You guys have technology. You have the yottabytes. Look into it. It's the thing. I don't remember what's the name of the phone. But there's more information coming along. Technology is taking books away from our classrooms. We need to learn how to use it effectively. Life and career skills. Who said flexibility? You're flexible. You did. Oh. Yeah, she's okay. I am a flexible person. Yes, we need to be flexible nowadays. If you're going to a job interview, say, I am flexible. I can adapt myself to situations, to challenges. And that is a great way for you to get a job, because that's telling me that you can solve problems easily. Okay? Initiation, self-direction. You have to be your own motivation. Don't expect someone to motivate you. You have to have your drive. And that's how you're going to be who you want to be. Social, productivity, leadership. Every member in this room is a leader. Every single one of you can be a better leader. You decide if you're going to be a good one or a bad one. But every person here is a leader. And the biggest thing, you will be teachers. You are changing generations. I did it, but you guys will do it. You're going to change a lot of people. And that's what makes you a leader. See, I learned something new. Yes. 21st century skills. Collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. And I appreciate for the ones that have been here, and I know it's late, but thank you again. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something, and I hope that I was useful. Thank you.